There are moments when understanding why someone won't leave a mud pit requires recognizing that sometimes being trapped reveals itself as choosing to stay trapped, when attempts to rescue a stuck bear prove the bear isn't trying to escape but deliberately maintaining position, and when the line between victim and anchor becomes irrelevant because the bear sinking in mud for 6 hours isn't stuck. She's strategically positioned, using her body as a living support platform for the 7-year-old girl trapped in deeper mud behind her. And the only reason the girl hasn't drowned in liquid clay is because she's been holding on to the bear's back for 6 hours, while the bear refuses all rescue attempts that would require moving away from the girl. In Flathead National Forest, Montana, September 2024, hiking group leader Daniel Foster and 8 strangers encountered a black bear, approximately 300 pounds, partially submerged in a forest mud pit, clearly exhausted but making vocalizations that seemed to reject rescue rather than request it, and showing aggressive resistance whenever anyone tried to pull the bear out toward solid ground. But what shocked everyone wasn't that a bear would resist being rescued from drowning. The shocking truth emerged only after Daniel insisted on examining the area behind the bear and discovered 7-year-old Emma Chen clinging to the bear's back, barely conscious, covered in mud, having been trapped in the deeper section of the mud pit for 6 hours. And only after pulling Emma to safety did they understand the full impossible picture. The bear had encountered Emma struggling in the mud pit early that morning. The bear had deliberately entered the mud and positioned herself as a stable platform Emma could hold on to. And the bear had been sinking for 6 hours, refusing to move because moving would have caused Emma to slip into the deep liquid mud that would have drowned her within minutes, and only after checking the bear's identification records did the devastating connection emerge. This bear was Willow, whose cub had been saved 5 years ago by Emma's family when Emma was just 2 years old, when Emma's parents had intervened to stop poachers from killing Willow's cub, and Willow had recognized Emma's scent and spent 6 hours using her body as a lifeline, repaying a debt that was 5 years old. What happened next shocked everyone. Shocked when they realized rescuing the bear would have killed Emma. Shocked when they understood the unexpected action wasn't pulling the bear out, but securing Emma first. Shocked when Emma revealed she'd been conscious the entire 6 hours holding on to Willow while Willow made sounds that seemed to say, "Hold on, don't let go, help is coming." And shocked when the world learned that some animals not only remember specific families 5 years later, but will sink themselves in drowning mud to become living anchors that keep those families' children alive. September 23rd, 2024. 11:34 a.m., Flathead National Forest, Montana. Hiking group leader Daniel Foster was guiding 8 hikers along the Beaver Creek Trail when they heard sounds that made them stop. Distressed animal vocalizations coming from approximately 50 yards off the trail. "That sounds like a bear in trouble," Daniel said, grabbing his emergency radio and first aid kit. "Everyone stay together. We're going to assess from a distance and call wildlife rescue if needed." Following the sounds, the group discovered a scene that seemed straightforward but felt wrong. A large adult female black bear, approximately 300 pounds, partially submerged in a forest mud pit, the kind of thick clay mud that acted like quicksand. The bear was clearly exhausted, clearly suffering, but making vocalizations that didn't sound like distress calls for help. They sounded like warning calls telling others to stay back. "The bear is stuck," said hiker Rebecca Martinez. "We need to call rescue immediately. That bear has been there for hours based on how deep she's sunk. She'll drown if we don't help." Daniel called Montana Wildlife Rescue, but the response time was estimated at 2 hours due to the remote location. "We can't wait 2 hours," Daniel said. "That bear will be dead. We need to try to help her ourselves." "Because," Daniel said slowly, examining the bear's positioning more carefully, "I don't think she's trying to get out. Look at her body position. She's not struggling toward the edges. She's maintaining position in one spot, like she's anchored there, like she's staying there deliberately." "That's insane," said hiker Marcus Thompson. "Why would a bear deliberately stay in drowning mud? Unless—" Marcus paused, a horrific thought forming. "Unless there's something else in that mud pit. Something behind the bear we can't see." Daniel felt ice flood his veins. Everyone spread out. Carefully examine the entire mud pit perimeter. Look for any signs of— "Oh my God!" Rebecca screamed from the far side of the pit. "There's something behind the bear. I can see. It looks like fabric, like clothing. There's a person in there." Daniel rushed to Rebecca's position and felt his world stop. Behind the bear, in a section of the mud pit that was deeper and more liquid than where the bear was positioned, barely visible through the thick mud coating, was a small human form. A child. Mostly submerged except for the back and head, and the child's arms were wrapped around the bear's back, holding on. "There's a child in the mud!" Daniel screamed, immediately calling 911. "We have a trapped child behind a trapped bear. We need immediate emergency rescue." As Daniel and his team worked to carefully approach the child without destabilizing the mud further, the full picture became horrifyingly clear. The child, a young girl approximately 7 years old, was in the deepest part of the mud pit, where the mud had the consistency of liquid. The bear was positioned between the child and the solid ground, and the child was clinging to the bear's back, using the bear's body as the only thing preventing complete submersion. "The bear is keeping the child above the mud line," Daniel said, understanding crashing over him. "The bear is acting as a platform. The child is holding on to the bear. If the bear moves, if the bear escapes, the child loses her anchor and sinks into the deep mud. That's why the bear won't let us rescue her. The bear is choosing to sink rather than abandon the child." "But how long has the child been there?" Marcus asked. "How long has the bear been holding position?" Emma Chen's weak voice answered. "Since morning. Since the sun came up. She found me. She came into the mud to help me. She let me hold on to her. She's been keeping me alive." As emergency rescue teams arrived and began the complex operation of extracting both Emma and Willow from the mud pit without causing either to sink further, Emma's testimony revealed the scope of what Willow had endured. "I was hiking with my parents this morning," Emma whispered to paramedics as they carefully worked to secure her while she still held on to Willow. "I saw a butterfly. I followed it. I didn't realize I was getting close to the mud. I stepped on it, and I started sinking. It was like quicksand. I tried to get out, but I kept sinking deeper. I screamed for help, but my parents didn't hear me. They were too far away. I thought I was going to die. The mud was up to my chest. I was so scared. And then I heard sounds, bear sounds, and the mama bear came. She walked to the edge of the mud and looked at me. I thought she was going to leave. But she didn't leave. She walked into the mud. She came toward me even though she was sinking too. The mama bear positioned herself in front of me where the mud wasn't as deep, and she made sounds like she was telling me, "Grab me, hold on to me." So I did. I let go of the ground and grabbed onto the bear's back, and the mama bear stayed there. She didn't move. She just stayed still so I could hold on. That was this morning when the sun was coming up. The mama bear has been there all day. She's been sinking deeper and deeper, but she won't move. Every time she starts to sink more, she adjusts a little bit to keep me above the mud. She's been saving me for 6 hours. She knew if she left, I would sink all the way and drown. So she stayed. Rescue specialist Sarah Kim examined Willow's condition as teams worked and felt her throat tighten. This bear has been in this mud pit for approximately 6 hours based on the depth she's sunk and the exhaustion level, Sarah said. The bear is suffering from severe exhaustion, dehydration, and hypothermia from the cold mud. The bear's legs are completely submerged, trapped in thick clay mud that requires enormous strength to move through. The bear has been using constant muscle engagement to maintain position and prevent further sinking. And critically, every time the bear adjusted position to keep Emma above the mud line as the bear sank deeper, the bear was using additional energy and causing herself to sink faster. The bear could have preserved her own life by the unexpected action that the strangers took wasn't what anyone anticipated. Standard rescue protocol would be to extract the bear first, pull the bear out, then reach the child. But Daniel, Sarah, and the rescue team immediately understood that approach would kill Emma. If we pull the bear out first, Emma loses her anchor and sinks immediately into the deep liquid mud, Sarah explained to the team. The deep section behind the bear is essentially liquid clay. Emma would submerge completely within seconds. We'd never reach her in time. The unexpected action we have to take is the opposite of standard protocol. We secure Emma first, while the bear continues to hold position, then we extract the bear. For 90 minutes, rescue teams executed an operation that required Willow's continued cooperation. Carefully building a stable platform extending into the mud toward Emma, securing Emma with harnesses while she still held onto Willow, slowly pulling Emma onto the platform, and only after Emma was completely safe on solid ground did they focus on extracting Willow herself. But what destroyed everyone emotionally was Willow's behavior during Emma's extraction. As rescuers worked to secure Emma and pull her away from Willow's back, Willow made sounds that seemed to encourage Emma, vocalizations that sounded like reassurance, like, "It's okay, you can let go now, the humans have you, you're safe." "The bear is telling Emma it's okay to release her," Daniel said, tears streaming down his face as he helped secure Emma. Willow is communicating to Emma that rescue has arrived, and Emma can let go. Willow has been Emma's lifeline for 6 hours, and now Willow is telling Emma she can stop holding on because humans will take over. Once Emma was safely on solid ground and receiving emergency medical treatment, rescue teams turned their full attention to Willow. But Willow's extraction was complicated. 6 hours of sinking had trapped her legs deeply in thick clay mud, and exhaustion had depleted her strength. "The bear can't help us," Sarah said as teams worked to dig around Willow and create extraction points. "Willow has no strength left. Willow used everything she had to keep Emma alive. Now we have to save Willow, and Willow has to trust us to do it." As rescue teams successfully extracted Willow after another hour of painstaking work, using hydraulic equipment to break the suction of the thick mud and carefully lifting the exhausted bear onto solid ground, where veterinary teams immediately began treatment for hypothermia and exhaustion. The question everyone struggled with was why a wild bear would deliberately enter drowning mud to save a human child. Daniel checked Willow's ear tag identification while veterinarians worked, and what he discovered made the entire situation shift into impossible clarity. "This bear is Willow," Daniel said, reading the records. "Tagged and released 5 years ago after rehabilitation. Willow was brought to wildlife rescue with her 3-month-old cub after her cub was attacked and nearly killed by poachers. The cub was treated for injuries. Both mother and cub were rehabilitated and released together. And the humans who reported the poaching incident and saved the cub?" Daniel continued, his voice shaking. "Robert and Lisa Chen. They were hiking with their 2-year-old daughter Emma when they witnessed poachers trying to kill Willow's cub. The Chens intervened, drove the poachers away, and called wildlife rescue. The Chens saved Willow's cub. And because of their the story of Willow, the black bear who recognized a 7-year-old girl as the daughter of the humans who'd saved her cub 5 years earlier, and deliberately entered drowning mud to position herself as a living support platform that girl could hold on to for 6 hours, while Willow slowly sank, refusing all rescue attempts that would require abandoning the girl, became the most documented case of 5-year cross-species debt recognition and calculated self-sacrifice ever recorded. But what happened in the months and years following that September day revealed truths about animals choosing to become trapped to save others. Memory that spans 5 years, recognizing children who were toddlers when the original debt was created, and the concept of strangers taking unexpected actions that save both human and bear lives, by understanding that sometimes rescuing means securing the person being saved before rescuing the savior who's keeping them alive. Emma Chen made a full recovery after treatment for severe hypothermia, dehydration, and minor injuries. But medical teams unanimously agreed Emma would have drowned within 1 to 2 hours without Willow's intervention. The deep liquid mud would have caused complete submersion and suffocation. Emma was trapped in the deepest section of the mud pit, where the mud had essentially liquefied. Rescue specialist Sarah testified during hearings. Emma's body weight was causing her to sink continuously. Without a stable anchor, Emma would have submerged completely within 1 to 2 hours. But Willow entered the mud, positioned herself in front of Emma in a slightly shallower section, and allowed Emma to hold on to her back. Willow became Emma's anchor, the only thing preventing Emma's complete submersion. For 6 hours, Willow maintained position. Willow was sinking herself. The mud was thick clay that trapped Willow's legs and pulled her down continuously. But Willow adjusted her position multiple times to ensure Emma stayed above the mud line even as Willow sank deeper. Willow sacrificed her own stability and accelerated her own sinking to keep Emma alive. And critically, when rescue teams arrived and tried to extract Willow first using standard protocol, Willow resisted. Willow understood that if she moved, Emma would lose her anchor and drown. So Willow refused rescue for herself until Emma was sick. Willow recovered after 2 weeks of intensive veterinary care for hypothermia, exhaustion, respiratory complications from partial mud submersion, and severe muscle strain from 6 hours of maintaining position in thick mud. But veterinarians confirmed Willow had been within 1 to 2 hours of death herself when finally extracted. The cold, the exhaustion, and the stress had pushed Willow to critical limits. Willow was dying, veterinarian Dr. Michael Torres said during interviews. Another hour, maybe 90 minutes, and Willow's organs would have begun shutting down from hypothermia and exhaustion. Willow knew she was dying, but Willow chose to die if necessary rather than abandon Emma. Willow's decision was deliberate. Die keeping Emma alive rather than live by letting Emma drown. Daniel Foster struggled with understanding the sophistication of what Willow had done and what the rescue team had been forced to do differently. When we found the bear stuck in mud, we assumed standard rescue. Pull the bear out, the bear lives, everyone goes home, Daniel said during interviews that reached 80 million viewers. But the unexpected action we had to take was the opposite. We had to leave the bear stuck while we rescued Emma first. We had to ask Willow to continue suffering, continue sinking, continue dying while we worked to save Emma. Because rescuing Willow first would have killed Emma. That's what made the action unexpected. We were asking a dying bear to hold on longer, to suffer more, to sink deeper, so we could save the human child the bear was protecting. And Willow understood. Willow held position for 90 more minutes while we extracted Emma. Willow chose extended suffering to ensure Emma would live. That's not instinct. That's calculated sacrifice. But what left everyone most speechless was evidence showing Willow had recognized Emma specifically and had made the decision to enter the mud based on that recognition. Willow encountered Emma at approximately 6:30 a.m. based on timeline analysis, Sarah explained. Willow could have simply vocalized to alert humans or could have stayed on solid ground and tried to help from there. But Willow made a different choice. Willow entered the mud deliberately, approached from solid ground, walked into increasingly deep mud, positioned herself in front of Emma, and allowed Emma to grab onto her back. That's intentional. Willow chose to become trapped to save Emma. And evidence suggests Willow recognized Emma's scent. Willow had encountered the Chen family 5 years ago when the Chens saved Willow's cub from poachers. Willow would have scent memory of that encounter. When Willow found Emma trapped in mud, Willow recognized Emma as connected to the family that saved her cub, and Willow decided to repay that debt by saving Emma, even if it meant Willow would die in the process. Emma, now 7 years old, understood in profound terms what Willow had done. I was sinking, and I was going to die, Emma said during a school presentation about her experience. I was screaming, but nobody heard me. And then the mama bear came. The mama bear walked into the mud, even though the mud was pulling her down too. The mama bear let me hold onto her back. And the mama bear stayed there all day, even though she was sinking, and it hurt her. The rescue people tried to pull the mama bear out first. But the mama bear wouldn't go. The mama bear knew if she left me, I would sink all the way down and drown. So the mama bear stayed. The mama bear kept sinking deeper, but she kept me up high enough to breathe. For 6 hours, the mama bear was my anchor. When I got tired and almost let go, the mama bear made sounds like she was saying, "Hold on, don't let go, help will come." What was unexpected wasn't that strangers helped us. What was unexpected was how they helped. They didn't pull the mama bear out first. They saved me first, while the mama bear kept holding position even though she was dying. The mama bear suffered longer so I could be saved. Willow, mother who remembered 5 years ago that my family saved your cub from poachers when I was only 2 years old. who found me trapped and sinking in liquid mud at age 7, who recognized my scent as belonging to the family that saved your baby, who deliberately walked into drowning mud to position yourself as an anchor I could hold on to, who spent 6 hours slowly sinking while keeping me above the mud line, who adjusted your position multiple times, sacrificing your stability to keep me stable, who refused all rescue attempts that would require you to move away from me because moving would mean I would drown, who held position for 90 additional minutes while strangers secured me first, even though those 90 minutes nearly killed you, who chose extended suffering and possible death rather than abandon me. September 23rd, 2024. You weren't stuck. You chose to stay. You weren't trapped. You positioned yourself deliberately. You weren't helpless. You were saving me. The strangers who found us took unexpected action. Instead of rescuing you first, like normal, they secured me first, while you continued to be my anchor, continued to sink, continued to suffer, because they understood that saving me required leaving you stuck longer. You agreed to that. You held on through 90 more minutes of pain and exhaustion so they could pull me out first. What was unexpected wasn't that you needed rescue. What was unexpected was discovering you didn't want rescue until I was safe first, and that the strangers understood they had to save the child before saving the bear who was keeping that child alive. 5 years ago, my family saved your cub. You remembered. And you used your body as a living anchor for 6 hours, choosing to sink yourself to keep me afloat, proving that some debts are repaid by becoming trapped so others can be freed, by sinking so others can stay above, by refusing rescue so others can be rescued first. Daniel Foster continued leading hiking expeditions for 15 more years, during which he trained hundreds of rescuers in the Unexpected Action Protocol, assessing rescue situations to determine if the victim being saved is being kept alive by the apparent victim needing rescue, and prioritizing extraction accordingly. Willow was successfully released back into the wild after recovery and was documented multiple times near the Chen family property over subsequent years, always showing recognition of the family and unusual tolerance of their presence. Willow raised 2 more litters successfully and was observed teaching her cubs to recognize specific human scents, behavior attributed to Willow's 5-year memory of the Chens and her decision to pass that memory to her offspring. The unexpected action wasn't pulling the bear out, Daniel said during his retirement interview. The unexpected action was understanding we had to secure Emma first, while Willow continued to suffer. Standard protocol is rescue the rescuer. But in this case, rescuing Willow first would have killed Emma. So we took unexpected action. We asked a dying bear to hold on longer, to sink deeper, to suffer more, while we saved the child that bear was protecting. And Willow agreed. Willow held position. Willow continued to be Emma's anchor, even though it meant extended agony. That's what shocked everyone. Not that a bear was stuck in mud, but that the bear chose to be stuck to save a child. That the bear refused rescue for herself until the child was safe. And that strangers had to take the unexpected action of leaving the bear stuck longer so they could rescue the child first. Sometimes the most heroic thing isn't escaping. It's choosing to stay trapped so someone else can be saved. And sometimes the most unexpected action isn't dramatic rescue. It's understanding that saving one life requires letting another suffer longer, and asking if that life is willing to suffer for the sake of the other. Willow was willing, and that willingness saved Emma's life. This story shocked you, showed you that animals choose to become trapped to save others. Remember 5-year-old debts to families whose children were toddlers then, and refuse rescue for themselves until those they're protecting are safe first. Share Willow's story. And remember, when someone appears stuck and refuses help, they might not be trapped. They might be choosing to stay because moving would endanger someone else. Subscribe for stories proving that the unexpected action isn't always dramatic rescue, but understanding that sometimes you must save the person being protected before you can save the protector who's keeping them alive.